completed his first cast ever, the inaugural Janko cast. How was it?
Painful.
It was painful?
I think it wasn't too awful, though.
I think it's pretty smooth.
I expected it to be much worse, honestly.
Well, feel free to tweet Janko and let him know what an amazing commentator he is.
Please, no.
And that he should please continue this
Have
and
mercy.
drop the analyst gig. No?
Please,
All right.
mercy.
All right, well, speaking of Janko, hopefully we'll see a lot more of you in the following days, unless you decide to run off. You hate it so much that you run off. But we do have, by the way, the finals coming up in a month's time, and the tickets are up for grabs if you were not aware. And the finals at the SSE Arena at Wembley Stadium. So pretty awesome venue. Of course, there just was some finals at the O2. We got to see the UK crowd, as Janko was talking about previously. And if you're interested to visit and to spectate all the awesome matches that will be going on at the ECS finals, then there may be a package, as you can see there, which will be suitable for you, whether you want to spend a lot of money, a little bit of money, or well, take a bunch of friends with you, if you have friends. Where's the option for me, Janko?
That's why you're working there, Dan.
Yeah.
We are your friends, and Counter-Strike is your friend, Dan.
Counter-Strike is my friend, yeah. Anyway, swiftly moving on. Of course, if you want to actually see how the progression is going, perhaps you only want to visit if let's say ENVYUS make it to the finals, which it's looking a little bit sketchy right now.
Not likely. Not likely.
Then you can visit csgoleague.com, where we have all of our rankings. You can see everything that's going on with the European and the North American side of ECS rankings or VODs and any news. So that is your go-to hub for information.
On the other hand, if you want to see the scores and some news, then where can you go?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, Janko, because you can obviously visit the Score Esports, and if you don't have it right now, just go to your respective app store for either Android, iOS, or Windows Phone.
That's Google Store, I think.
Is that Google Store as well? Well,
no, who even has those phones?
I don't know. I don't know anyone with those phones. But if you do, you can go to your respective app store
and have a Windows phone. Then you can go to your own shop and download the score as well.
That works as well. But it is time now for the Score Esports pre-game breakdown, and we've got Janko here. So who better than to try to break this one down? NIP versus an ever-changing ENVYUS.
Yeah, never changing. That's a nice way to put it, Dan. I mean, ENVYUS in really terrible form lately. Lost
ever changing. Also known as terrible. Brilliant.
I mean,
continue.
Lost their last 5 matches, I believe. So the last win they had was in the ECS against FaZe. In that best. Oh, actually, I'm not even sure if it was in the. I think it was in the ECS, but never mind. All in all, really struggling lately as a team to find their footing and individually as well. Ever since the addition of Devil, they've been like putting him towards that support role, but he doesn't seem to be really comfortable there. So yeah, it's up to them to kind of reinvent the way they play maybe, and find a way to fix their issues, because right now you have to remember they still have to play the offline qualifiers for the major as well. So they lost that legend status too, and they really need to find a way back into the top echelon. Yes.
Yeah, and there's I guess a lot of points to be made due to the maps that we have, but because you're not going off into the green room or the gallery, you're still here because you're casting. You can make all the analytical points you want to because you have all the time in the world. But the pistol round has to start, and it's going to be ENVYUS on the T side, NIP on the CT side. NIP the T side of teams, generally speaking, and especially on a map like this. But let's see if they can get a good start here on this CT pistol. The bomb will make its way easily into the A site. We'll have the retake here for NIP, and they've got only a couple flashbangs, so no smoke for the retake, which is unfortunate for them.
Yeah, they're going to have to rely on some headshots here to be able to make the retake, but ENVYUS have good position.
Yeah, they're just hiding out by main. This is where the smoke becomes very useful, because then the teams have to run out of main if you smoke them off or if you smoke the bomb, but still making those headshots here are the NIP side, but they're just down to Pitts against 2, and he's not going to be able to do anything. Well played by ENVYUS. Pretty standard Pitts around, all things considered.
Yeah, and it's interesting that ENVYUS decided to veto Overpass instead of Cash. I mean, they also play Cash, but I don't think that anyone wants to play Cash against NIP right now. It's their best map, although they themselves claim that they can play every map equally from the pool. So I think it's good for ENVYUS actually that they start on the T side because, you know, because they, even now we see they won the pistol round, but they can dictate the pace of the game. They can maybe get off to a hot start, win the first gun round, maybe even with some aggression. So because we know that NFP is a really good two-sided team and very disciplined. As we see right now, ENVYUS going for that B bomb side and managing to put the bomb down. NIP deciding to just go for some pistols, not buying armor, and Getright got his hands on an AK as well.
That's pretty baller. AK-47s, fairly useful. And considering that there's still a round to be kind of ecoed, it's going to be really nice if NIP can hold on to that. And I see no reason why they will lose it. I mean, Getright in the most defensive position, and Forrest and Pitt looking to get some sneaky frags and pressure. And maybe see some of the teams on the site, but Forrest in there with a quick eagle kill. And to be honest, a really good opportunity for Pitt to actually get a follow-up there. So they could have really done more damage still and get us the AK for the next round.
This is where it gets kind of tricky, right? Because they didn't want to buy armor, but now when you have an AK, why not buy the cavalry? Yeah, but again, what will you be able to do with it by yourself? So ideally, what Getright should have done is save this round as well and just have a free gun coming into the first gun round. But we talked about it in the previous Astralis Dignitas game. That's just so boring then. So he's going to buy armor and try to go for a play, it seems, towards the B bomb site.
Yep, a $650 investment. I mean, he's going to have to make a couple kills to get...
He's just holding and they're going to flash inside their main to get some info, and they don't see anyone, so now they're rotating back towards the B bomb site all the way, it seems, which is a pretty early rotate for them.
I mean, if Getright gets 2 kills, he's paid for the Kevlar, but if he's able to save the gun, then that's fine as well. But
Yeah,
but those are the two. That's the two conditions though for buying that Kevlar, really to make it worth it. As you said, it's an interesting call. Now here we go. We have Happy able to make the first frag there. I just saw his name, like, what is that? It's like, all right, B Vincent. All right, it's definitely Happy. Okay, good. Luckily, it's just him.
You gotta love it when players do that, Dan,
Yeah.
as a caster, don't you?
His name's so long. Look how long it is.
This is Schopenhauer, aka Happy, aka Dead Now.
Dead now. Oh, look at the spray from Getright there. Able to pick up a frag already, so one of the conditions is 50%. Like the achievements, almost 50% unlocked.
Fiber gets another one.
So this is looking actually pretty sick right now. MBK gets the bomb down, but Morgan actually won't be able to do much more. One quick kill, and turns out that Getright's not only going to pay for his Kevlar, he's going to have a bit of extra money, and they will win the round. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Definitely is. I mean, you could see NIP rotating early, trying to get some information and stack a bomb site. But I think that ENVYUS, after Happy got the initial kill, they should have just maybe grouped up, and especially after he dies, because they kind of went in one by one, which gave a chance for like the player Getright killed first, went in before the smoke popped. That's a mistake, and after what could have been a good start for ENVYUS, now they're on a 4-spy. Although they do have a lot of utility, only 1 Tech 9 and 4 AKs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how ENVYUS try to play this round. It's always, like, I think, you know, kind of okay when you've got one player on the Tech 9, because in some ways it's actually beneficial. You can run and gun, you can be the first guy to draw fire and still be somewhat accurate at dealing with close range positions. So there's definitely a strong effect that can be had with Devil, but he does have full nades as well, so you kind of want him to toss the nades in before he commits to die.
Definitely a strong buy for ENVYUS. The player with Tech 9 can always just pick up an AK from a fallen teammate or a fallen enemy, and seems like they want to get some mid control and then go for an 8-split.
So will it be successful? There are a couple players by Connector. The boost, this is really awesome. We actually see this in North America quite often. I think it's, I actually believe it's Complexity that do that a lot. But this time doesn't get much here for the C2 side of NIP. Triberg just leaping over, Happy playing leapfrog literally with him. And that's going to be now a 3 versus 4 here. Now only 2 players remaining for the Swedish side. Triberg going in, able to take down Apex, finding the side of him. And there's a real chance here now for NIP, but it's tough. Freiberg needs quite the clutch. Got a player in A main to deal with as well. It's not peeking though, as he's very low. And Get Right looking to try to get something done. Interesting situation. Get Right really needs to get some damage done here, even if he loses the round. He will get no further damage onto the enemies. And so their money is really weird now.
I think they have to buy here. Basically, Freiberg might even drop a FAMAS for his teammate. But yeah, again, we see that once you give up mid control, NIP was going for that passive boost, but Apex was just running towards highway really fast, and they managed to pinch the players in the A bomb side before they could do anything from that boost in connector.
Yeah, but you're going to have Pit there able to take it first back mid. That's something it's a position where he's very strong in this map. Get Right's in some trouble, just a little bit. So spot of bother there for Get Right. He will be eliminated after all. Forrest coming in there with a nice bit of spray onto Devil. Dropping the bomb as well, so the spot on the bomb, they know for sure now what is going on. And Pit is waiting patiently behind the smoke. However, Forrest isolated and alone gets killed, but the flash in for Pit. He's going to take a quick frag to the FAMAS. Another one, a first from Pit. Great stuff there, pushing forwards with that flashbang. Beautiful. The support player of NIP shows everyone that sometimes he is bloody good.
He can also kill people then.
He really is very good at that, yes.
You could see how Forrest was also running in through Heaven. I think there was a flash before it, but the idea behind this was NIP wanted to go for the retake immediately, actually before ENVYUS could even get the bomb down and before they could get to the bomb site. So they knew that all of the players were still towards that checkers area, and if they allowed them to get into the bomb site, it would have been a much harder retake since they were all coming from CT spawn. So a bit of a risky play from NIP, so to speak, but definitely paid off in the end. And then we are going for a flat B.
Yeah, the good old B splits, but no weapons to really do this with. Some PT50s playing it conservatively, but they have killed one player so far. Getting into some poor positions too. A little bit dangerous, but the bomb won't be planted, and that really is going to be annoying for them. I mean,
a little questionable play from Devil, but tried to go to CT while he was the bomb carrier as well. Imagine if his team actually got control of the site at that point and he pushes out to get a surprise kill, dies with the bomb down, would have been detrimental to ENVYUS. But yeah, the round doesn't work the way they wanted it to, and NIP manages to get a bit of control going on with ENVYUS now on a eco, basically, a couple of pistols and armor on Apex and Devil.
yeah, and for me the scary thing is NIP's T side. So if NIP have like just a decent, an okay CT side, you favour them typically on the cash. They have quite the reputation here.
Especially if they win pistol, that's when they're really scary. When they get off to a good start, they use the map really well with applying pressure on different parts, then using that later on in the half, taking reactions from their opponents and just basically being one step ahead of them most of the time.
Absolutely, they're one of those teams at playing advantages. Very fundamental aspect of Counter-Strike, knowing how to do that, not throwing them away. Now, just 2 Kevlars and pistols, of course, for ENVYUS, the Quasi, and hello. That is going to be a nice little pickup from MBK. See you later, Get Right. Forrest in now to see if he can stop MBK shenanigans, but this is always very scary. Again, in this kind of situation, when there's untradeable kills, like with the Deagle, there's nothing you can do about those CPs. You just have to try to get the refrags, and that's exactly what's happening here. Forrest picking up yet another kill with 6 HP. Freiberg is doing a great job, and the bomb is down on the floor. And it looked like there was a lot of potential there, thanks to MBK, but it won't be anything in the end.
Yeah, also interesting position from Get Right, seeing as he was the solo B player to play it that passively. Because if they have a smoke, they can get control of the site. I mean, it's safer than you wait for the retake, but yeah, when you see that they're that spread out, you basically want to hold an off angle, something where they can't pre-aim you. Maybe you get the kill, or at least you get the info, and then you can play to buy time for your teammates, etc.
Yeah, here's
cheeky boost.
A
cheeky little boost.
Cheeky boost
That was
indeed.
waiting for it though. Kinda. Has to watch both angles. Oh.
There you go. Yep, and the interesting thing there is that AK3 maybe knows that he's there, but there's no way to really stop him, and he's going to push over the top and just go for the frag. That's so risky. But it pays off this time, and after losing Get Right towards B storage by MBK, that's definitely a very needed kill.
Yeah, he just went for a play there, single 45, flash into a main. This is the other guy.
So, very, very strong advantage for NIP in this 3 versus 2. MBK is on 4 HP, Happy is full, but there's only a smoke and a flash remaining. Great entry though from Happy. That's a fantastic shot, but he loses almost all of his health in going for it. So you still can't favor the chances of ENVYUS. With Forest on this bomb site, this should...
Yeah, both of the players really low. This should be an easy round for Forest.
Absolutely. Last nades in. Forest gets a very easy quick kill on the first player. Bomb is down as well. And he's just waiting a little bit there. Flash out. ECS peaks from heaven. Beautiful coordination. And NIP with the 5-3.
This is why we hail NIP currently as a team that looks much better, much improved. You see, as soon as they lose a player, they react to it. Yes, Freiburg goes for a solo play, but they also flashed into a main. They're constantly reacting to things happening on the map, and you always need to be on your toes when you play against NIP. Sure, you can say that maybe that's exploitable if you get a man advantage. You just play it really passively and wait for them to come to you. But you know, if you time it correctly, it's definitely the way to go, because if you just sit passively in a 4v5, the chances are that these are just gonna, overwhelm you.
Absolutely. And this time ENVYUS decided to just go for pistols, Fuzzy into the A bomb site very quickly, very rapidly, and it's going to work out. The bomb goes down, the frag is down, even more damage being done. Now MBK's got his hands on superior weaponry in the AK-47 that he's holding on to, but lack of Kevlar on a couple players, it might become an issue. Great nade in from Get Right. That's MBK dead. That's the only rifleman dead now for ENVYUS. That's not a good way to start this one off on this defense. Slowly but surely, everyone's dying. Happy playing the oldest trick in the book here. Waiting by door. Quick pop. Oh, what is that, Happy? Absolutely mental stuff with the P250. Can't get it done though. Cannot close. But it was an effort that is still being felt by NIP. I mean, it's probably still trying to work out what the hell happened there. What a flick.
That was a sick... second shot from Happy right there. Great nade from Get Right though. MBK was the only player with armor and an AK, he had 40 HP. So for a grenade to, you know, get 40 HP off, it has to be on the money, and definitely helped them in that retake, considering it ended up being a 1v1. But now Kenny finally has an op. They have all the grenades as well, and NIP's economy isn't looking that strong, so ENVYUS still with a chance to reset NIP here.
Indeed, it's back to another slow plate. And you know, adding to your point earlier about taking the risks when you have to make those plays and not just let the T's come to you with a man advantage. One thing that people forget as well is that you can make you can find ways to make those plays less risky by playing good team play and timing and with proper flashes and so on. You can make those plays much safer, but Push comes in quickly now, and ECS will spot a couple kills there from short. Third player spotted, that will be the one to kill ECS finally, but he's done more than his fair share of work, and this retake situation looks far better for NIP than some of the past ones. Bomb will go down, and with the bomb going down now, if NIP are smart, they'll realize that there was only one place to plant the bomb, so they should actually know exactly where the bomb is, which does help them a lot in how to deal with this situation. Apex with a few nades to delay.
He needs to go for a kill here, probably. His teammates are low. Especially now with Gatlet is on the flank. MBK is pretty low to do anything.
Well, it looks pretty bad here for Apex. He's 1 versus 3. Finds the first player, the headshot connected. Second player is going to do the damage. Forest winning the round there for NIP, and they go 7-3. They have lost quite a few players in the last couple rounds though, so surely their economy is dipping, but ENVYUS having just picked up... Oh, sorry, they didn't just pick up a round, my bad. Completely misreading that one for some reason. Either way, that's going to be the max bonus there, so that's $4,200, including the bomb plant for ENVYUS. So they're not lacking money, they're just lacking rounds which seem to close.
I mean, that was a bit of an interesting round, and NIP let go of a side completely. And I think it was Exist's play initially was really important, managing to put Kenny S out of play immediately in that door area with the AWP, then getting an extra kill, making the retake much easier. Okay.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah, crazy spray there from Devil. Just managing to land those 2 headshots as well to make life much easier here for ENVYUS. So surely they'll be able to take a round finally. I mean, they have such a strong advantage here. NIP is probably just interested in getting damage. I'm not 100% sure how their economy looks right now, because if it's terrible, they should probably save actually. Looking at their economy right now, but looking to go for it. And ECS manages to get a quick kill, but he's down to 9 HP. I mean, both players are already quite low in that situation, so...
Yeah, considering the money on Freiburg and I think it was Getright, yeah, and Pitt, they should have probably saved the 2 guns, because you can drop one to Freiburg and maybe one to Zest, but now they're kind of forced to go for an eco, and the 2 players were low, so the chances of a retake were really slim. So the disciplined NIP we talk about kinda was a bit too eager to go for the retake there.
Yeah, that seems very rare, because usually that's the spot where, you know, you got Threat was saying save. Like he's going to put the call in authoritatively to make the save. Maybe he got overridden by a player, perhaps. I'm not sure, but that's an unusual situation, and it's going to hurt NIP. It gives ENVYUS a chance to get back into this.
It's also good to see that ENVYUS doesn't, still goes for those fast, aggressive plays towards mid, even though they lost a lot of rounds in a row, basically, and it was a pretty good execute. There's a lot of flashes going down while the players are running out, but they're not getting flashed by them, which is kind of hard to pull off, doing it so quickly, especially towards the mid area. And it's not Devil basically 2 easy kills. As we see in this eco round, NIP got the information that ENVYUS isn't on the B bomb side, but they already have control of A and are going to plant the bomb shortly.
Yeah, and this is what you said that you like to see, is just pushing everyone together on ecos like this, trying to get that 1 kill, isolate that 1 player. And I mean, they did find the 1 player, MBK, but he's not caught in the open. He does use cover to good effect to keep himself alive and waits for his teammates. And so it will be a clean round in the end. Well, pretty clean.
Let's see how NIP adjusts now in the gun round. Are they going to play it more passively towards mid, because ENVYUS uses a lot of resources there, or are they maybe going to fight for it and have an op on B? But they don't really have a strong enough economy for the op. Force decides to go for an M4 and all of the grenades. See that Freiburg is forced to play with an UMP.
Okay, well, it will be a passive opening from ENVYUS. We have NIP though, taking a quick boost here to exist, not going for the run boost. Interestingly, I wonder if Devil can hear anything from this position. Yeah, being quiet.
If they do it properly, he cannot hear anything, because you can just shift jump on your teammate's head, and the opponents can't hear you once you jump, holding walk only when you land.
Right. Okay, well we do have the ENVYUS push coming in slowly but surely. We've got Devil going for the nades, pop flash in to get himself through onto NBK, and it's going to be Pitt going down immediately. So great grenades. Pitt basically got wrecked by them, but now it's down to ECS. He's in this boost position, has to convert, and convert he will. Bomb is now down by quad, full control of the CTs. NBK gets a kill and get right in B, congratulations. But the bomb is on the other side of the map, good sir.
Well, this was kind of weird. I mean, they push A with the bomb with a good execute. NBK still all the way towards checkers, bit happy in mid lurking as well. I mean, you need to secure the side of those guys before you can lurk and get the kill.
I mean, it's okay, right, if you just have happy there, like where he was. But NBK...
Or just NBK. Yeah. I feel that I'm not sure how NBK got there. It's maybe what he did initially in the round, trying to pin 2 NIP players towards the B bomb site, but then Happy can't be mid. He has to be with his team. They need to secure control of the bomb site, and then NBK can be even more annoying, you know, make it harder for the B players to rotate.
Indeed. What is that smoke? Interesting. Well, either way, Apex in with a very fast Molotov to sandwich. There are NIP players in the vicinity. They are getting completely caught off guard at this point. However, the trade coming in from Freiburg now as assistance from Forest will help to kill Devil, removing this French presence from middle at the very least. And the bomb is dropped. So Kenius has to win these battles. First 2 kills coming in from Kenius. There's still one more player by Sandwich. Kenius is scanning for it. And Freiburg is going to swiftly deal with Kenny. And the bomb, that means, is still in control of the CTs for now. And Freiburg must have seen it. So Get Right has the call. And he's going to be wrapping around short to lend some assistance. And this is going to be an interesting couple engagements. Because there's a minute for ENVYUS to kind of work their way to whatever position they want for this engagement. Get Right seems to have a read though. Boom, there it is, the first kill, leaving just 5 HP, unhappy. Get Right's going to turn around and take him down as well. So another mid-aggression that this time just didn't work out.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that smoke. It's not the one I think you throw to block the Molotov. It might block the vision if a guy tries to push towards the left side of mid. But yeah, ENVYUS go again for the mid aggression, but now NIP do a better job of holding it, especially Freiburg from the sandbags area. Kenny had to pull off a close miracle to win that round for his team.
Love this run boost here to, if there was an AWP on the angle, to make him lift the shot for anybody really. And it's Get Right there, go for the spray downs. Get Right actually uncharacteristically not pulling off much in the way of a result in this situation, but doesn't matter, just happy left. And okay, he's got the most savage P250 game in the Wild Wild West, but he's gonna die anyway.
Yeah, and good half for NIP. I mean, a great half, all things considering that they lost the pistol round, of course, managed to win the third round on an eco with only Get Right on that AK, but after that we could see that they really picked it up, and with some great reactionary play to what ENVYUS was doing as well. ENVYUS at times maybe a bit too passive, especially when they managed to get the bomb down in a couple of situations. They kind of were at a disadvantage when you're in a 3v4, let's say, and the bomb is planted. Depending, in some situations they had low HP, so at that point there was that one round where Apex was the only one with 100 HP. He needs to go for a play, maybe have a teammate bait for him, because if you just wait for NIP to come to you, it's basically going to be a pretty straightforward retake for them most of the times.
Yeah, and I mean that 10-5 is so scary just because NIP haven't even started their T side yet. So it's historically you would imagine that NIP should easily close this, even if they lose the pistol round. But of course, if they win the pistol round, ENVYUS just don't have any chance here, surely. But the pistol will commence.
I mean, the reason for NIP's strong T sides mostly stems from the fact them winning the pistol round, then securing the anti-eco rounds, having a lot of bank coming into the gun rounds, right? So even if they lose 1 or 2 rounds, they still have enough money to buy. But when they actually lose the pistol round and don't have a good start, it becomes trickier.
Yeah, and it's quite cool to see that Forest gets the headshot finally. He drops the P250, so it's kind of a raid boss with the P250 there for Forest, which is awesome to see. And it's the first kill for NIP. They do take some tags here, but they will try to finish their rounds on the B-bomb side. And there are 3 players here for ENVYUS to try to defend, so it's going to come down to those headshots. Nice little jump there from Pit to try to bait the shots away, and this looks like a very good pistol round here for NIP. I mean, if you put any reliance upon them, or any, let's say, qualifying factors that they got to win the pistol round to have that super strong T side, well, they've got some of the best players in the world to do that. They've got Forest, I mean, Pit is actually an excellent pistol player as well. And there you go.
I mean, this could have been great for ENVYUS. They had 3 players towards the B bomb site in passive positions, albeit, but that's where NIP went, and they were in a 4v5, and you could see that once the smoke drops, the player from spawn is isolated. So what I would have liked him to do is run through the smoke, try and get 1 kill, surprise them, and bait for the player in in headshot, right? And then the player from heaven should have let himself be known as well, and then the player in headshot can be like the joker player, right? They can play for him, and then he has a good position to surprise NIP and maybe get a couple of kills. By doing this, playing it passively, leaving him by himself, even if he gets a kill, I mean, he's going to get traded immediately, and NIP has control of the bomb site. So maybe something that ENVYUS could have executed a bit better, but NIP secures the pistol round, and ENVYUS, of course, on a force buy.
Yeah.
They kind of have to go for it, though, in this situation, right? They need they have to try and break NIP, even though they're the best team at anti-force buy rounds. And you can see why. They just buy a lot of utility. They only have one player with the AK. They have 3 MP7s, a UMP, and you can see them methodically trying to get map control, and you can see it's obvious that they want to go for a B split, and they're probably going to use the rest of the Molotovs towards the B bomb site for the most standard spots.
And here we go. We've got Devil there looking to defend, but surely he gets mollied. Or well, it looks like ECS tries to take the battle with the AK-47, which is, just smart. Smart if you're going to do it with the player. That's the gun you choose to kind of push that with. But it's not working out here for NIP. They're getting shut down. Kenny finds 2 quick kills on the CZ. There's still a player on the bomb site. That is so scary. Do NIP realize that there's still another player? I don't think he's announced his presence. It's Happy, of course. Happy could just end the round right now. He's in smoke. Oh, but they will spot for him. Forrest getting the frag. MBK back to the leader shenanigans. Can he get something out of this? Bit of tagging there onto Forrest, but the bomb can be planted here, and it will be. Freiburg there. They don't have to really peek him, although it might be in their interest to do so, as they can get him at long range as opposed to close range. He'll have more success with that deagle. MBK desperately trying to work his way into this bomb site, but these players just not giving him the kinds of shots that he needs to get in there. So now he's going to force the issue close. And there you go. Finally he dies. That looked kind of scary though for NIP, I must say. And for those of you wondering, how is it that NIP have been allowed to play cash, ENVYUS decided to actually veto overpass, and NIP vetoed their usual Inferno. So that's how the cash pick came about.
Yeah, a bit of a sloppier execution than usual from NIP. Not waiting for all the smokes and Molotovs to pop, but even with all of that and a couple of great kills from Kenny, as we see Devil with a cheeky little P250 headshot, even with that they managed to bring it back, and you can see that 2v1, how they're not overextending, not allowing MBK to get a 1v1 aim duel basically, and they secured the round in the end.
Yeah, so the chances here for ENVYUS do drop significantly, just being on pistols, no Kevlar, no utility. And NIP deciding to converge onto that A site take, and they have 4 Molotovs with which to use. So we should expect to see the bomb site carpeted in these Molotovs to allow safe entry into the site. And there should be a fast response here from the pistols, but what can they see? Absolutely nothing. The key smoke laid down between the forklift and the red container to block off vision from short. The Molotovs onto the site, onto all the dangerous positions, and they're in now. One doesn't have to happen as the CTs force the engagements, and with the superior weapons, NIP are able to easily clean up the retake attempt.
And this is the NIP anti-eco, right? Even though Freiburg gets caught off guard in the beginning with that kill, they just make it look so easy in a 4v5 by good usage of their nades, baiting out the plant, and just holding their positions, basically waiting for ENVYUS to come to them. The game is paused, Dan.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know.
What the hell is going on then?
But Forrest is 25 for 10. Oh, okay. Apex crashed, it seems. So he'll be back in about 10 seconds. So we should be resuming very shortly. But it's cool to see Forrest having such a good game. I mean, in the 18 rounds that have been played, he's made 25 kills. And usually you actually would see these days Get Right and Forrest both up there, but
yeah, actually, I mean, whenever NIP wins a game, it's mostly everyone doing pretty much more or less the same. Probably Get Right or Forrest are a bit ahead, but it's pretty even across the board, meaning that it's a team effort whenever they win. That applies not just to NIP, but to teams in general. Like Mouse is an obvious example.
Yeah.
When Nico has like 30 plus kills, they usually lose the game closely, but when all the team contributes, they end up winning. And this is something Getright is known for. Right now it's not just him, but getting control of checkers with that smoke off towards the exit, using the Molotov and the flash, really putting a lot of pressure to the B defenders to always be on their toes. But it seems the way Envy approached this is letting go of B bomb site pretty much. Just Kenny with a passive angle. He's supposed to maybe try and get one kill and then wait for his teammates to play for the retake.
Well, we have that heavy pressure, as you mentioned, that Getright just sitting in checkers. And the danger there is that ENVYUS are always going to be scared of the B take, but NIP don't have to commit to it. I mean, of course, they're in a position where they seem to be waiting for the push. There it is, and Getright easily dispatches MBK. Now they decide to move in. Of course, ENVYUS have a lot of players in position around the bomb site, but the presence of NIP is quite overwhelming on the site itself, and they will get the bomb plant and set the time upon the CTs. Now Happy's coming in for the flank. He needs to be the playmaker here. His teammates are locked out. Happy is anyone that can do anything. There's the first frag, goes for the spray, and someone walks into it. It's Pitts. 2 frags there for Happy. He's made this possible now as the advantage on the men goes in the favor of ENVYUS, and the bomb was stopped from being planted. So now they'll hear the bomb go down, and they'll push. And there it is. Oh, it looks like the flash timing was perfect there from Forrest, but unfortunately, that must have been a coordination that he froze just as the bomb is being planted, Forrest froze that flash because they know that they're going to push then. So that was really smart.
He also probably thought that he has to make a place in this, I think it was Xist or Pit. I think it was Xist who was pretty low himself. What I don't understand there is you had Kenny playing passively and then you just have MBK walking into vents and trying to check checkers without any flash or anything that gets killed by Getright. I mean, what's the point on having Kenny play so passive? He could have challenged at any point, held a more aggressive angle, but it doesn't come back to haunt. And they still managed to pull the retake off with 2 great kills from Happy.
And now we will see the set piece, which is reminiscent of the Cobble one, where it's kind of delayed, so you know that they can just run into A with it. And this is the reaction that usually teams will have, is they pop flash into A main to confirm whether it's going to be a push or not, and to kill the players if they are there. But great wrap here, great delay and wrap from NIP to go to the split in a more unconventional manner. And ENVYUS are really struggling to find out what the hell's going on at the moment. Kills coming in all over the place here, mostly here for NIP as they manage to finally close the round. But what a beautiful chaos there for NIP set upon ENVYUS.
And Forrest with another triple kill. I mean, what you said, they themselves, Getright knows what the reaction is, that someone's probably going to try and pop flash. He looks towards the wall, actually doesn't even, just waits to hear the sound, the cue, before he turns around, gets the easy kill on, I think it was Devil, and then NIP with a complete wrap to mid, but now they're going for a quick mid push.
Yeah, and not going quite as well as it was for Devil on the first part, if you remember, as Getright gets taken down immediately. But he's got teammates in numbers to help him out, and it looks pretty good here for NIP once again, dealing with superior weapons. ENVYUS not having the best refrags, and Pitt with a very decisive kill onto Devil. That is going to send things into despair as Happy dies as well. 15 rounds for NIP, and it looks...
And another triple kill for Forrest. He's on 32 in 22 rounds and 11 deaths, almost 3-to-1 kill to death ratio.
I heard he's pretty good at this game.
That's insane, Dan. That's pretty sick.
Dan, that's insane, Dan.
I mean, NIP just showing, and this is something that we are seeing recently from Getright. He's sometimes the guy who goes in first, actually, like he did just in the previous round through the smoke. NIP manages to secure mid with an early push, knowing that ENVYUS doesn't have a lot of resources, don't have probably the Molotov for the boost, don't have a nade for mid, and they get the trade kills and secure the round.
Yeah, and it's about Getright going in first. Is an interesting point there, but we might have a bit of an altercation here in middle, as you can see there. ECS is waiting for Happy to go over the boost position. When will he go? Patience by both teams, and this is why NIP can be quite good as well, because they can get very patient in a round like this, and ENVYUS desperately want to go for a push, and it's going to be Forrest to get the first kill. So life looking rather difficult here for ENVYUS after losing that one player. Seems as if NIP realized that there's a player close due to the fact that there was a boost. And looks like the position is... Oh, that snap again from Happy. Absolutely mental stuff. His snaps today have been pretty on point. but his team only has 6 rounds, so there is that. ENVYUS now going to be receiving a push from NIP on the A-bomb site. Great position here for Devil. Usually there's a Molotov in that position, but Devil and Apex get all 4 players. A quad between the two. And there's usually a Molotov there, but NIP didn't have a Molotov there in that round, and they lose the round because of it. Interesting.
Yeah, you can see how they were playing pretty passively in the beginning, knowing that ENVYUS was on pistols and expecting some aggression. We got a 1-for-1 trade. It was a 4v4 situation, but ENVYUS got a good read, managed to get to pull off that boost in time towards the A-bomb site, and the pistols are pretty powerful for range damage.
Yeah, they really are. That position is one of the reasons why we did see the Molotov there, is because it is one of the most dangerous positions on the site because of the range and the kind of off angle that it's on. But the push coming in here now from NIP on towards the B-bomb site. They have got a lot of rounds to play with, and they'll have to actually eco if they lose this round. So that's actually going to give ENVYUS something to kind of work with to come back into the match. But first of all, NIP must, or rather, sorry, ENVYUS must first of all actually break NIP.
And NIP already has mid control right now. And in turn, MBK is pretty aggressively towards A main. But after this Molotov, he basically has to fall back, has no support anymore, no utility. And that will leave NIP in a good situation.
Yeah, Get Right is keeping tabs there in that slow walk onto the white box position as well. I think that's from Forest, who's been quite prolific so far in this matchup. A quick double though from MBK to drop the bomb. Now this puts a really weird position into NIP's hands as MBK gets himself a third as another 1 versus 1 goes his way. Forest though, he's still alive and he's got 2 frags this round. Forest looking to actually just get himself as close to the 40 bomb as possible as he's looking for the rest of ENVYUS, of which there are 2. Now he has to reclaim the bomb. He's got 15 seconds. He needs to go right now. And here he is. Will he spot the first player? Will he work out the Devil's in the door? Well, Devil's going to tell him as by shutting the door. And Forest has got to go for the plant here. There's really no way to survive in this situation. Surely he's going to fake it. Go for the frags here. That was the play. But he can't get the first one. And that will be the round there for ENVYUS. But they did lose 3 players.
Now this was an example of a good 2v1 play from ENVYUS. It wasn't really hard to play it out, but still, you know, buying as much time as possible, Devil letting him to pick up the bomb, and then him playing aggressively with Kenny playing passively. If Forest plants, he dies from Devil and Devil defuses. If he doesn't do it, even if he kills Devil, he doesn't have time to plant the bomb, and ENVYUS win the round either way. And now we have NIP on an eco and Kenny on an op.
I feel like I haven't really seen Kenny AWPing in this matchup so far, really.
They force buy a lot, Dan.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, ENVYUS like to force buy.
Well, he's going to get flashed and smoked away. He can't even shoot a shot. Will he just die? No. Pulls out the 5-7, able to keep himself alive for now. But it is the site in control of NIP to some extent. Bomb can be planted at the back. And he will quickly dispatch exists. So should be the GG in this round. Forest though does come in from heaven to see if he can get some extra damage. Pistol Master.
Of course he can.
Picks up a quick kill. That's so cheeky as well. That is so cheeky. Bomb goes down there for NIP as well to allow them a buy.
I think that NIP is just prolonging this game so that Forest could get up to 40 kills. I think that's their mission right now at the moment.
His closest teammate does have 17, and it's like that's so far away.
Or maybe they just want to give Happy enough time to get a star, then get an MVP star.
Oh, is he? He's not got a badge.
He's the
There's
only
no sheriff badge.
The only starless player. This should get smoked off from NIP. Usually when they go for a play like this.
Here it comes. Kenny S is going to be forced to a close range defense now. They know that he's close, but they're trying to work out where he is. Able to pick up a quick kill before he goes down there, but still nothing with the AWP found. And it's looking amazing right now for NIP. 4 versus 1. Devil in against it all. And he's going to try to reposition here, but his chances are a little bit, well, they suck.
They're not 0%, Dan, though.
No.
They're never 0%.
You never go for Moses, right?
No matter what Moses says, there's always a chance. An AK and a dream.
An AK and the green. And there is his first kill, but he will be traded upon, and that is map 1, going into the hands of the Swedish side. NIP taking their map pick, but it is the map pick, obviously, of ENVYUS coming up next, which will be Mirage. And 3 away from the 40 bomb there for Forest. Only 37 kills, only 37.
Yeah, a monster performance from Forest, definitely. But that last round, we saw the execute of NIP towards the B bomb side. That's exactly the round when we talk about maybe on the desk, or when you see these crazy comebacks on the CT side, it's usually because the Ts never go for a strat like this, right? They simply don't have it. It's a full execute strat, you use everything, and it's a strat that I think NIP probably wins 4 out of 5 times or something, right? You need to have strats like that when everything else is failing you, basically, and you just need that one round to somehow make it. This is something that you would want to go for, because it isn't almost at all reliable on your players' individual performance, if you don't take into account that someone maybe misses a smoke, but that really shouldn't happen, right? Because you saw how the bomb site looked like, where Kenny S was. Everything was smoked off, molotoved off, right? Even he can get that one kill because NIP didn't check the corner, but he can't get any more than that. He's instantly traded, and after that, it's just up to NIP to play the after plant correctly and secure the round.
And we got the match highlights, or the map highlights here for you. And I feel like it's going to be just a mini Forest frag movie. We'll have to see, as it was quite a crazy performance. But for me, like we'll often see Forest all get right. If there are 2 players going off, it's usually going to be them, because they usually put in the position to do a lot of crazy stuff. And one thing that's interesting, a point that I wanted to talk about previously, just briefly, is that when it comes to get right entry fragging a little bit with this NIP lineup, I think that was something that always needed to happen, because it was very easy, I think, for a lot of teams to read NIP before, because where you see get right, he was always playing luck. So if you see him somewhere on the map, you know that he's playing luck there.
Exactly, and that's what we saw at Pro League, right? I think it was the game against Fnatic where they played Train, and they went for an outer fake, and Forest was actually the guy faking outer, because if he gets a kill or dies, then they will think, oh, this is an execute, it's not get right. Get right was actually the first player pushing towards B, and he was the one pushing all the way to the back of the bomb site and securing route for his team, and I think he got even like 3 or 4 kills in that round. So I agree that it's maybe a switching of styles a little bit, maybe make it a bit more interesting, but also mind gaming to an extent their opponents, right? Because as you said, whenever you saw Get Right somewhere dying, that's probably not where his team is, similar to as with Happy on ENVYUS, right?
Absolutely, yeah, that's a really good point. And it is time for us to take a quick break to see if there can be a recovery for ENVYUS on their map choice in Mirage. It's definitely a good map for NIP. I think generally all the maps here, NIP have a deeper map pool, but we shall see. We'll be back after the break. We're most definitely back now. Now that I've turned the mics on. Bit of wouldn't be an ECS show without non-live mics. And James is not here, so I had to do it instead. So
It was your fault, Dan. You turned them off.
that's true.
I never turn my mic off because I don't say stuff that can ruin my career off air.
I do that frequently. Who knows what happened, Yanko? If all the stuff that was said off air would go. I mean,
Especially in the green
all
room.
the stories.
Especially
all the
in
stories.
the green room, Dan.
Indeed. It's full of many secrets. The chamber of secrets.
They will remain hidden forever.
They will indeed. And it's time to see now whether NIP can make it to 2-0 or whether ENVYUS on their map choice will be able to battle back. And I mean, you have to favor NIP. Akash and Mirage, like as the first two maps, that's really got to be pretty favorable for NIP. But it is time for Yanko to delve in here for the pre-game the score esports breakdown. So go ahead, Yanko, just give it to us. All the
Okay, Dan. Okay.
all the dirty analysis of this game.
Actually, out of the last 9 maps these two teams played against each other, ENVYUS only won one of them, and that was Mirage,
Right.
funnily enough.
Okay.
So, and it was at Face It League Season 2, the online part. So, yeah, it's actually interesting because ENVYUS historically they didn't play it. I mean, Happy's teams didn't play Mirage, it was what they vetoed, but then they picked it up basically before the Cologne Major. I think it was, and they managed to surprise a lot of people there with some real explosive play, especially Navi. They played Navi in the quarters and managed to beat them on Mirage, which was something that no one expected, seeing as Navi was and still is one of the best teams in the world on this map. But right now, all things considering, the form of ENVYUS and the form of NIP, I still think that this map, even though it's ENVYUS's pick, I still feel that NIP is the favorite team here.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to bet against them. I think, as you say, like the numbers really tell you everything. Even though, they kind of stretch over across a long period of time. I think the numbers do definitely speak for themselves. And NIP, a brilliant T-sided team, will be able to start off on the T side. But
again, Dan, 5 armors on the CT side.
Yeah, they want to fight, man. They want to fight. But as you say, if NIP don't get off to that good start, they don't win the pistol round, then there is a real shot here for ENVYUS to have that good CT half. But they need to have a good CT half here. And first and foremost, it's about getting those headshots. And KennyS will be leading the charge there as we see a bit of aggression. I like that they had 2 people peeking that angle straight away. And look at this. It's like a traffic diversion here. NIP diverted all the way to the A-bomb site.
And right now it's a good call because most of ENVYUS's focus is towards the B and the mid area. Only Apex, I think it is, towards the CT spawn area by himself. And Force just threw the one smoke they had exactly for that position, so still gonna be tricky.
Yeah, it's funny, a lot of teams would just stay in the Biats, but NIP immediately rotated and they're going to beat the rotation here. Oh, going straight in for Happy as he reloads, but Happy still gets the reload off, gets the frag as well, and his pistol play so far has been picture perfect. We'll have to see if he can continue that streak as the rest of his teammates are coming in now. Just get right, and there you go. What a shutdown. ENVYUS will start off with the CT pistol, but the bomb went down, and if I was NIP, I probably would be heavily considering a set piece with a force buy in this next round.
5 armors are OP, Dan, on CT pistols.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's actually pretty hard for the CTs to defend against a full execute. It would have been better for NIP if they got some kills, then they would have had more money for grenades, but right now it looks like they're just going to eco and buy the next round.
Yep, makes a lot of sense as well. You can really make both arguments for NIP because their buy rounds are really strong, and they probably feel against ENVYUS. Maybe the ENVYUS themselves are unstable or will make so many mistakes that they just want to play the most basic game that they can, perhaps. And what kind of round would you expect from NIP? You're facing ENVYUS in the next round. Assuming that NIP does somehow win this round with some crazy play.
Well, seeing as how they saw that Kenny only has a CC, they're probably expecting an op from him in the next round. So it could be a number of things. I think they will have enough money for 5 ops, so they might go for a pretty fast B split. It's going to be hard for them to just go for mid control and then put the bomb side up because they won't have all the molotovs and all the flashes for it. So either that or faking mid control and then going maybe for an execute towards the B bomb site.
So not A? You don't think they will touch A?
It's definitely a possibility, but in my opinion, it's a bit too predictable with the buy they have.
Right. I think that's a
Considering
good
that
point.
they were ecoing, so
That's actually a really good point. I like that. I like it. Would I have loved it they would have just run through A? It's like, get wrecked, yeah, get
of
wrecked.
course, Janko, you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you're not playing, you're talking.
So looks like we will see smoke here, the very, very typical cat smoke, but it's delayed. And that's interesting. But KennyS is not going to be finding anything. He's going to get actually trapped. This is kind of cool. I wonder if they realize that that Molotov won't cover the corner. But the smoke will kind of give the game away that KennyS is there. This is going to get hit in the face by a smoke, rather a flashbang, but he otherwise will be okay. And NIP have mid.
This is why I said it was going to be tricky for NIP. They do manage to get mid control and put Get Right in that ladder room, also existing connector. But now they're only left with 2 smokes and 2 flashes. Which I suppose one is going to be for jungle and other one maybe for CT spawn. And then they're going to go together from ramp and connector with Get Right lurking. But I dislike that they don't have anyone in A apps to trade kills from that position. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah, KennyS down at 1 HP, now finished off by Exist with a quick headshot. Happy's in Palace. He might be quite annoying. I don't know if they count on this. This is kind of the one weakness of NIP's play, is that they don't have anybody in Palace to clear this. And okay, Freiberg is there on Sandwich, so he's able to stare into this position, as we can see. And I think Happy needs a distraction to commit to this play. Maybe now he's going to start going as the rest of his teammates push in. In fact, exactly that happens. After Pit makes that frag, Happy goes in for the trade from Palace. But now his position is known. He's been smoked off. He's going to be flanked here by Forest. Good night, Happy. And the rest of his team is also dead for the round of NIP. So they make the A play work after securing mid control and forward positions on 2 players, as you mentioned. And nice little pop flashes here and there.
Yeah, they managed to make it work in the end, but I think it was Happy again being a bit too passive. By the time he was getting flashed in to take a peek, doesn't achieve anything. NIP already has control of window room, so I felt that since they lost some map control early on, he had to be more aggressive with his positioning, try and get a kill or 2 earlier on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And now ENVYUS into this spy, which for some would not make a lot of sense. And against NIP, who will be running anti-ecos, you've got to be cognizant that maybe you don't get to fire those scouts before a bomb site's lost. And that's the big risk of this buy from ENVYUS, is that they need to convert on these scout purchases, but will they? I'm not sure.
They will not. They will not.
It's very unlikely, isn't it? MBK is in a good position, and he is somewhat of a scout master. Finds a headshot onto Forest and Exist as well. And that's why the scout can be dangerous, but you do wonder to some extent why the end of the walkway was not smoked off in, or something. Smoke.
True. Especially knowing that MBK loves playing that position with the scout, and he is extremely proficient with it, as we just saw. So a bit of a blunder, but round's still not over then.
No, but Get Right will eliminate Devil, who was the main threat in this round, and now it's just going to be Apex left with the scout, and he's going to get tagged up and finished off by Get Right. So in the end, it will be the round won by NIP, but even with just 3 frags, you have to wonder that, okay, sure, economy damage onto NIP, but surely ENVYUS should be thinking more about their own economy in some respects.
Yeah, I think they realized that they are not going to have enough money to buy in this round either, but they wanted to have a good buy in the next round, right? In round number 6. So they just bought a couple of scouts, some pistols. The players that had a bit more money, maybe, thinking that they could get lucky. But this is an eco for them with a couple of pistols, and they're focusing on the next round.
But what if, Janko, your percentage chance to win that last round is about 10-15% with that buy, or to do damage? That's significant enough. That's the question of a team like NIP. The numbers that they've been showing, as you highlighted previously, they're one of the teams where there is the strongest argument to go for those full ecos. And, nothing done in this round here by ENVYUS either. so far. Snag from Apex, but that's it.
What I would maybe do against NIP is maybe force and then try and gamble on a bomb site, right? Stack a bomb site with at least 4 people. And if they come my way, then I have a decent chance of winning the round. But if they don't, then I can just save again. Because the problem against a team like NIP right now, seeing how they're really efficient on their T sides, is you on one hand you don't want to go double eco and give them a really good economy, because then you have to fight them on full gun rounds. You need to win 2 in a row, which is going to be difficult when they have all of their utility, right? So you ideally would like to have a healthy buy for yourself, but also put some pressure on them so that you can only win 1 gun round and maybe force them to at least have a weak buy if they're going to buy, or maybe to even go for a full eco.
It makes a lot of sense too, because if you, let's say you even guess wrong for 2 rounds in a row, you can try to save the Kevlar, make them work for the kills.
Exactly.
And so there's actually a lot of logic there. I like that a lot. I don't think I've ever seen a team go for that approach, which is very strange. But either way, here comes the push from NIP. Very fast B. Set piece coming in. MBK close with the M4. Let's see if he's able to do this. 1 frag traded. Not good enough, really, for ENVYUS to really hold on to this bomb site. As we can see, NIP are in there now. Although the bomb still needs to make its way out of the apartment still. I guess that they are really trying to make sure that everything is smoked off very, very fully and thoroughly before they push in. And now finally get right last man out of the B apartments. We'll go for the plant, but everyone's dead already. Everyone's already dead. So very, very safe play there with the bomb, but beautiful execution in the end from NIP, getting all the frags.
Just shows their versatility, right? That they can change the pace as well, surprise ENVYUS. Maybe they know that Kenny likes to go for that jump, and then when he does that, MBK is pretty much by himself towards the B bomb site. And you could see them just throwing the typical smoke towards mid to distract Kenny from the B bomb site, and then just with 1 or 2 simple flashes towards B, they explode there, and MBK simply can't get more than that position.
But speaking of more than 1 kill, we got Apex with a double, and that is a little bit scary, isn't it? We got him sitting in the apps now with a gun, although he's only got 5 HP. But NIP now, their attention split between so many positions with only 3 players. It's very hard to deal with. But I thought Forrest was going to get that, but he doesn't. It's Get Right, he picks it up. He's down low now, 22 HP, and in comes Apex from the back. Exist. That frag was so incredibly important, but there's still a very solid chance for MBK to pull this off. He just has to connect 2 bullets, 1 with Get Right and 1 with Exist, and he wins this round. But he has no kit, so there it is. Good headshot position, making life difficult for MBK, and NIP win the round. Very close though, thanks to that play in the apps by Apex.
Running and gunning with the 5-7, pretty powerful.
It's good, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, another full buy for ENVYUS. Kenny with the AWP again. Let's see if they try to go for an aggressive play right now. Maybe push towards mid or flash into A ramp, because the standard play hasn't worked for them in the first round.
Yeah, indeed. Well, bomb towards the slope.
Same old.
NIP. Mid as well. Start to work into some forward positions. NIP still trying to work on moving their players in, and I like this. The forward smoke in connector allows Freiburg to enter quite easily. He's always going to do this. He's going to pop flash through. There's a player in the stairs. Freiburg playing for it. Just got to drag that spray across. You can see that he's a little bit frustrated there with that the slowness to that kill, but he does get it regardless because the pop flash was so strong, and that is a wrap.
I mean, we're talking about Kenny S, right? One of the best AWPers in the world, and how how AWPers could be influential on Mirage. NIP in the first 2 gun rounds completely negating his influence. Like, he could not get a shot off basically here, and you can see the problem of giving up map control and not reacting. NIP just managed to pick off all the players of ENVYUS on both short, window room, connector, and then in the end towards the A-apps. They need to be more reactive on their CT side. They need to maybe try and group up if they're already not going to fight for mid control.
Danko, happy has the AWP. And
finally, the best AWPer in the team gets his hand.
I was just about to say.
And of course, gets a kill immediately, and they're going to win the round now. So happy, obviously, a better AWPer than Kenny S, guys.
It's just so funny. I was just thinking, like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? You got Kenny is looking down middle from window with a FAMAS. Happy's running into apps with it all. What's going on?
I mean, the only thing is with that, in a situation like that, is that maybe Happy is more comfortable with going for that peak, that position. He's done it before. So if they want to do that as a team, maybe Happy is the better choice than Kenny. But I mean, generally speaking, it should always be Kenny, the one on the. Look at this, now he's in the same position. Of course, gets another entry kill. Why not? Why not? Maybe Kenny's just not feeling it, and he gave it to Happy.
Yeah, that's possible. That is possible.
But I mean, generally speaking, it's not something you want, right? You want for your opponent to be able and consistent enough to do it in any situation. As we see now, finally, ENVYUS is fighting for that mid control, flashing Devil in, him getting the kill after the initial pick from Happy, and now things are looking much better.
Yeah, they are indeed. Just leaving MIP with 3 players, so it's a pretty hard position to work from if you don't have map control. And again, the effort was taken towards middle to take mid control, but they just lost 2 players, so they didn't even get, like, for that sacrifice, mid control really. Although it's only now that ENVYUS are leaving it alone, which is actually smart in of itself because they can afford to play more passively now because it's safer. They got less angles to worry about. They can play team play much better, force the T's through choke points. So with that 2-man advantage that they have. So this is a great setup for ENVYUS. And okay, sure, NIP have middle, but what are they going to do with 3 players? That's really the question.
Split towards the B bomb side, it seems.
Ooh.
Very important goal for Freiburg too.
Yeah, that is pretty
Happy's
good.
now alone on that side of the map.
And GetRight's going to get into the B apps because Happy, losing his teammate on short, now he's worried about short. So this gives the opening for GetRight to maybe shoot him in the side of the head. We'll have to see if GetRight can get that angle. Distraction needs to come in. If this shot comes from Happy, then it's surely a frag. But he pulls out a nade. The timing is devastating. GetRight's going to plant for short now. And he's rapidly moving in, but he won't get the frag on the initial player. Exist. Or Freiburg rather. Life is looking quite difficult here now. ENVYUS with a good start, but they're getting shut down by this play. All started with Freiburg in the ladder room, and it will end surely with Exist here in the window room.
Yeah, that was a problem for you. Don't want to be isolated and give your opponents a 1v1 duel or when you have a man advantage. But MBK was pretty stuck at that point in time, couldn't move out of ladder. Maybe Happy should have come there and gave control of the B bomb site. But yeah, a great lurk from Exist as well, from Connector. Got great timing, and NIP managed to win a 3-5 round.
Yeah, and it's a really big deal because now it's eco time for ENVYUS. That was the round that could have saved ENVYUS from having economic turmoil or hardships. And now it is just ecoing against NIP, not really the best place to be in a Counter-Strike match.
But now they're actually gambling on the A bomb side then.
Indeed. And NIP, because they don't have anybody with an SMG, there's nobody to play information, without. I mean, the nice thing if you have like a guy with an SMG is it's a low cost. You don't really lose much, and you can have a guy who can just run into a site and just basically get that information for you. Although the other the other option is just to have a really solid set piece into a bomb site with Molotovs, and you can play blind as well.
That's the much better option, in my opinion, because you can go for information, and then the information is, oh, one player is here, but you died. So
right.
You're not helping your team at all at that point. So it's a thin line between getting information or just dying for no reason.
Right. And I'm with you there. I definitely prefer the blind play with the Molotovs, but a lot of teams seem to have not the drilled.
In the end, you need to have diversity,
rounds.
right? If you only go for the set plays, then people will just stack against you, and it's a coin flip. They will be right sometimes, and then you risk giving the round away. Even though with a good set piece, you can actually negate a stack, even with good use of Molotovs, smokes, and flashes. But yeah, you never want to be one-dimensional. Never want to be easy to read for your opponents, because there's no such thing as an overpowered setup or an overpowered execute. Everything is dependent on the situation and the read. So if you can get a good read on your opponent, there are always
Well, it is looking great for NIP so far on their T side. And ENVYUS, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, did they not win the first 3 rounds? Or the first 2 rounds, right? Yeah, then they end up getting reset eventually. So again, another very strong performance from the ninjas in pajamas. I mean, can you actually buy NIP pajamas? There must be actual NIP pajamas somewhere.
I'm not sure, but it won't make any sense if you couldn't.
I know, right?
I mean, it's the whole point of the team.
Exactly, this defeats.
And some shurikens, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, it's now time for, I think it's Forest. Forest and Biance. He's going to slowly try to get an angle there on a potential pick, and Happy, usual shenanigans in Palace.
Now, and ENVYUS reacting a little bit. They had a stack towards the A-bomb site early, then they put Happy in a forward position in A-apps. Now they can rotate around the map. We see MBK is baiting for Devil here with a forward position. They're moving Kenny S over as well, while Happy is going for the information play, but GetRight seems to be waiting for it. Wow, nice flick. Nice flick. Happy's gonna be not happy about that one. Hey, caster puns. I'm a caster now, boy.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I have all the good puns as well. Now Ape is going for an, again, aggressive play. Why not? Kills GetRight. But they lost all control of mid, of window, of connector. You see how scared Kenny is to move anywhere. He has to go all the way towards the CT spawn. Apex in the bomb site all by himself. But this is a strong position considering there's no one in A.
Yeah. Well, he's dead. He's dead now.
Dead now, of course. Dead now, of course.
So yeah, ENVYUS trying to build towards something there, but again, NIP seem to be individually on Mirage especially just a little bit better overall, just more consistent generally speaking in the 1v1s, and that really adds up. If you're already a team that's having some strategic success, when you're in hard spots where you got to play individually, and you're still getting the better of it, then that's when you win. That's when you win at Counter-Strike. That's how you win Counter-Strike, friends. So NIP with yet another round, and ENVYUS not really much to show for themselves so far. They're on a mere 3 rounds, and it's very likely that NIP are going to go into a surplus into the double digits. Like 11 or 12 at this point looks very realistic.
Definitely, because NB, even with this eco, will not have an optimal buy, and that's because when you buy constantly pistols all the time, you will be always, after you lose a gun round, maybe you'll be stuck around 3k, 3.5k, which is really not enough for a buy. If you go for a full eco, maybe you'll be around 4,500. With that, you can buy decently well. But as we see again, NIP just going together as a unit towards the B bomb site, getting the kills, and it's going to be another pretty easy round for them, not losing a single player so far yet.
Absolutely. Another good one from NIP. Yet to see too much from ENVYUS so far, and the problem really is if they don't even scrape together 5 rounds, they won't really get much chance to show some Counter-Strike here today. I mean, they will. I mean, again, if they lose the pistol round, for example, they'll maybe have 1 buy round. That's their margin of error. Your margin of error is 1. That's kind of sucky. And look at the money on NIP. It is ridiculous.
I mean, ENVYUS has 27 kills in 13 rounds. That's basically 2 kills per round. That just tells you that they've had a really hard time even contesting NIP on this map so far. Considering they won 3 out of those rounds, that means in the rounds they lost, probably they got like 12 kills in 10 rounds, something like that.
Yeah, indeed.
I also learned that you should never do math while you're casting right now, Dan.
Yes.
So I almost have it nailed, boys. Almost have it nailed.
Casting math is top tier. You can nail that, it's top tier.
But yeah, again, NIP going for that mid control. Devil now pushes with a smoke by himself, gets a kill but he dies, gets traded. Are they going to push together now? Yes, no.
They can just get wrecked as well.
I mean,
double peek and mid. Seems like NIP can't go wrong with whatever they do right
I mean, they are obviously, hitting their shots and everything. But when you're playing, that's the thing that I was pointing out about NIP, right? Yes, threat. They're listening to him. He helped them a lot. But the main thing as well, next to that, is that they're actually playing with a lot of confidence again, right? Because they see how this is influencing their play. They see that they're playing better. Obviously, the results are better as well. So these individual players like Forrest, like Getright, like Freiberg, who maybe started doubting themselves after a miserable 2015, remembered that they are actually a former world champion as well.
Yeah.
So when you have that, then that's why they got into their old form. And even if they're, in a disadvantaged position, they can still make it happen because NIP magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
It's a really big deal. I mean, the way I always like to put it, well, I shall wait as we have some action here into the bomb side A. That's ENVYUS can post some kind of defense. They have less than optimal equipment to deal with this situation, but bomb will go down, smoked off. It is so many depressing situations have been set upon ENVYUS where you can see just that picture there with Happy just stuck behind a smoke, no way to get to the site, no equipment to even do anything if he was to be able to get onto the site. So it's a hard spot to play from, and Get right in here with a flash, takes down a free one. And there's possibility for Happy right now. There's two players there, one of which has 9 HP, but and he has a kill as well. So if Happy's really quick, make this happen. But no, throwing a flash towards the stairs, he'll get caught out and fragged. So the 12-3 is there, and yeah. So the way I like to put it is that now NIP have a structure that they can believe in. They can actually believe in there's actually a team now, and for them to believe in. As well as themselves individually, so that there's so much pressure off their shoulders. I think last year and the year before, in some senses, imagine being in the position of Get Right Forest. They probably realize unless they have go completely ham in a match, they're going to lose that match.
Yeah, because honestly, in the way they play, they were surpassed by other teams, ENVYUS and Fnatic most notably. And I think that what we're seeing here is what is supposed to happen generally when a structured team meets a team that relies solely on I mean, not solely, but largely on their individual skill and individual performance. Unless the team with structure, the players are failing individually in some basic ways, they should always prevail, because you put the loosely styled team in unfavorable situations by your execute, by your setup. That's what you said yourself, that ENVYUS was constantly in these unfavorable situations.
Yep, it's being played quite well here by NIP, and there's a little run boost. The run boost peaks are becoming more and more prominent, and they're very strong actually, and underused, but I don't think that's going to be the case for too long, that they'll be underused. So here you go. ENVYUS straight into the A site. It's a retake setup from NIP, so they've allowed for this to happen. They have smoke on Freiberg, but he's getting tagged down. He needs to throw that smoke onto the bomb soonish, I suppose, if he wants to peek. But lots of presence here from NIP. 3 players from CT battling as hard as they can. Frag coming in from Pit there, gets the second one as well. And there's still more players to be fragged here for the T side as ENVYUS go and try to defend here. But finally the smoke, and you can see that's a set retake smoke there, I believe, from Freiberg, as we'll have Forrest in close. But he's got the kit now. That was dropped by Freiberg. Nice little snap there from Forrest. All on Happy against Forrest now. Tapping the bomb. I think Happy saw his foot. Happy knows that he's not on the bomb. Great shot from Happy. Set retake smokes, man. That's where the future is.
Yeah, that was pretty insane by NIP, and I guess he has a couple for different plant positions, but yeah, in the end, ENVYUS managed to get enough kills so that Happy can win them the round in the end. You see that NIP doesn't buy armor, but they buy pistols and HEs.
Oh yeah.
And they are expecting a big rush, because that's where the stack is.
4 HEs. NIP actually, I've seen some cool HE rounds from them, and it's quite cool to see some teams bringing it back, because the HEs in this game are very unreliable. So this sort of play can really suck or be really good. And it's usually that it really sucks. But if you have the timing and the calls and the setups.
Seems like they also have set positions and set angles on which they throw the nades, so that not everyone throws the same one, and maybe if it misses, they all miss, which is pretty cool. And this is what I was talking about when, what people could do against NIP. maybe it would be something like this, pretty much. And it seems like ENVYUS is going a bit towards the B bomb side, at least MBK. They're going for a B split actually for long.
Just playing dodgeball there, but it's going to be the first couple frags going towards the ENVYUS side. And because they split the site and they didn't go for the what is more common actually, which is just, let's say, if they were going B, as you said, like NIP have been doing, just run in through apps in some sense or other, then the Nays probably would have done quite a lot. They just went through apps, but they didn't. So gamble was there. And it's great to see that NIP are doing stuff like that. You know, I mean, if they're successful, other teams might copy it, and that's how the meta game can start to change based on, you know, if some team discovers something that's quite strong.
I mean, honestly, because the pistols were much less powerful in 1.6, a lot of teams had a lot of ecos, like set strats on eco to try and at least get a couple of rifles of their opponents, right? And you didn't, at least the best teams in the world didn't just throw those rounds away by standing in default setups and like waiting for the round to be over so they could play with guns. I think that teams in CSGO were much more lazy when it comes to those rounds to think about something because when you think about it, like just get one flash and you have 4 players and they can just run out somewhere together and, you know, try to get a kill or two with good timing, like Dust 2 mid or Mirage mid, or, you know, you can do a bunch of stuff, but teams are just, it seems like lazy is the right word there, I think.
Yeah. It's one of those things that is quite nuanced. Come back to that point in a moment. We've got a fast round here from ENVYUS. Now, this would have been the round where it would have been nice if there were a bunch of HEs, but there is just one player instead of a bunch. The main push is coming towards the A site. Happy's playing the guy with the checkboards. He's playing the information. Freiburg's actually going to pick him up. And there's another player here for Freiburg to fight against. Ooh, getting some damage onto MBK. What the hell is happening over at A? We have some frags. I have no idea what's going on. Forrest and Freiburg picking up frags. Exists as well. He's picked up an AK. He's got 100 health. One goes down towards B side of the map. Now, Exists in a position where he's probably just saved this AK. How do you interpret this?
He can try and get a cheeky kill from short, but if... Oh, he didn't see Devil for 4-3.
Wow. It's happening. It's happening.
You know what happened here, Dan?
Yeah.
He didn't see Devil because obviously he would shoot at him directly, but one of his teammates is playing on a different resolution. He saw him on his screen, so he gave him the call where the last player is actually, he got the initial kill and just manages to clutch
Crazy.
1v2 eco round. Nice.
Crazy. Yeah. And there I was. There's your save. Shut up, Dan. Shut up.
I mean, the point is, it would probably be, this is not going to happen every time,
No,
but
no.
you're like 13-4 up, you might as well go for it. You were saving, you would have had enough for a gun and armor, and why not have some fun with it?
That is actually a very good point. That kind of makes it completely incorrect for me to say save there. Oops. Either way, we all make mistakes, Janko.
Coming for your job, Dan.
We've all had a drink. So, definitely have another drink. But maybe later. We've got the 3 versus 4 situation here from ENVYUS, and swiftly their numbers are going to be cut down again. ENVYUS struggling at every point, it would seem, against NIP. Definitely a very good stylistic matchup for NIP, as noted previously by Mr. Yanko. And we have 2 versus 4 playing out here. Kenny is able to pick up another kill into mid, so this is going to give some space to be worked from for ENVYUS, but get right. He's going to come in from the bottom and just frag them both. That is awful. Before Kenny can even escape into the boost position, into the window, he gets killed. So that is a rough situation. NIP now, they're about to win this match. There's no money. There's no money for ENVYUS.
Isn't it? Okay, I thought it was already. I thought it was supposed to be 15-5 for NIP now, but I am mistaken. Ooh. Yeah, and a really weak buy for ENVYUS, a bunch of Tech 9s, and it's going to be an
Indeed, lots of fragging to be had here for the ENVYUS side, it would appear. Devil will get 1, as well as MBK, but Pitt straight back there in with the AWP. Forrest as well getting his hands dirty, but he will be taken down. So really nice entries found by Devil with the 2 frags. It will be an opportunity now for ENVYUS to stave off the NIP side. Fantastic nade though. Absolutely marvelous stuff from Get Right. Devil has been tagged down so low just by nades here, and now it's going to be down to Devil to go for this push, but he's been met with Pit. How does he get that shot? Beautiful stuff there from Devil, and that changes things quite dramatically. Devil could even pick up the AWP if he wanted to, considering that he's got 9 HP. It might be more optimal to have an AWP, and he is going to be dropping his weapon, but picking it up again. So here comes Get Right, 3-1. Nice little rotation from Get Right. Now he makes his way onto the site.
Lurker versus Lurker.
Yeah, just a PT-50 unhappy though, but it's close range. And there's the spray! And if ever the PT-50 glory was to be had by Happy, it should have been then. But the defuse comes in for NIP, Get Right picks up the round, and that will be the 15-5. Game point, match point for NIP. And the money sucks for ENVYUS. It's really bad. The money is really bad for ENVYUS.
They still have a better buy than they had the last round, but yeah, it's looking pretty grim for them. They seem to be going for a set play on B this round.
Well,
or a straight up B rush.
There you go. First getting hit in the head there, donked on the head with a smoke grenade, but hit and Get Right in with 2 fast frags, but return. But can the bomb be planted here? There's so much pressure in, and Forrest realizes he's getting attacked from behind right now, and he's got teammates to help him out on the front. Very fast round. NIP defend, and it seems like ENVYUS couldn't quite find ever really an optimal way to attack NIP or even defend them. So across both maps. So quick 2-0 from NIP. I think that was generally the expected results. You know, what are your thoughts now on the series?
They got wrecked then.
They got wrecked.
I mean, if I told you that NIP won 16-5 against ENVYUS on Mirage, you'll probably tell me, oh, yeah, they must have won both pistols, you know, reset them a couple of times whenever they win a gun round. Actually, ENVYUS won both pistols in this game then. But they managed to lose the third round both times, and they just couldn't bounce back from that at all, only winning 1 gun round in the first half, and that was it basically from them. Really underwhelming performance. You could see why we emphasize NIP so much right now, because if you just don't react to what they're doing, so it wasn't like ENVYUS was making these huge terrible mistakes, it's just that they give up mid control but don't react to it. They don't maybe try and push ramp, or they don't work as a unit, and they just get punished. Freiburg exists in the mid area, pushing through connector with a flash. NIP changing the pace towards the B bomb site as well, utilizing the fact that Kenny likes to go for that jump from window towards short. Pretty basic and simple stuff. I mean, it's something that we see from other teams as well. It's just that their execution of those strats is really on point right now.
So what is the future like for ENVYUS in that sense? I mean, they've I think Happy at the last major said that they really want to stick together with this lineup at the moment and take it, try to basically become a team, because right now it doesn't feel like they are where ENVYUS should be, right? So what do they need to change? How do you interpret that? I'm
really not sure that these 5 players can recover from this in a lineup that they have right now. Their problems seem to be really deep within the team, that whether it's motivational issues or disagreements about their style of play, because there's a lot of talent on that team. There's a lot of firepower of the team. You have Apex, you have Kenny S, you have MBK, you have Happy.
Yes.
I mean, Happy is one of the best lurkers. It's just that his lurk style is much more high risk, high reward, right? He's not in a position, if something goes wrong for his team, he's not in a position to help them. But if his team gets entrance into the bomb site, he will close out the round for his team, basically secure it, I don't know, 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, right? But they are just not playing well enough, and the players have lost confidence. I think that's pretty obvious as well. And now they're having trouble making those openings. So at the beginning of the year, they switched to MBK as an in-game leader, brought in Maniac to try and widen their game, diversify their game. That didn't work, so then they went back to Happy. Maniac is gone. They went to the old play style, but they have Devil instead of Q. You can't really pinpoint one thing. That's the problem. It seems that that they have a lot of issues that are really hard to fix.
A lot of things, those things you described sort of reminds me a little bit of what happened, what became of NIP into like the last year and a half before Threat joined them and gave them a new system, reworked everything from scratch because he demanded the respect of the players, and he's obviously good at what he does in that sense. Do you think that could be the solution there for the French team? I don't know that there would be the equivalent,
I mean, having someone like Threat or similar like Threat would be an awesome addition to any team. The problem is if the players are going to respect that person and actually listen to what he has to say and implement that, because every team can benefit from having more structure. There's like even Fnatic, even with all of Meister, they would benefit from having more structure because even themselves, it doesn't work for them in every game, their play style, right? It's been a miracle how they were so consistent for that long with some really close games. But that would, I think, be a starting step, right? They need someone from the outside maybe to be there and to try and give an objective perspective on what their issues are. Because when it's players one against another in the same team, it can always have players who are more stubborn, who don't respond well to constructive criticism, maybe don't want to admit the mistakes they're making, and then that constructive criticism becomes an argument, and that's when a team goes into disarray, right? So definitely they need to go back to the drawing board when it comes to the most basic stuff, in my opinion, like motivation and just working really, really hard, both individually and as a team, to get back on track.
I guess we'll see, time will tell if they have the patience to do that, because it does sound like a long process, an arduous process, and they need a lot of support. I mean, they have a great organization behind them, but well, I guess we'll find out if all the talent on ENVYUS, if it can actually become great once again in the future. But
make ENVYUS great again. Happy.
But I have to remind you guys. I mean, let's see. I'm not sure if it's going to happen at this rate. Maybe ENVYUS will still be able to qualify for the FACEIT. I'm going to keep doing this, aren't I? For the ECS finals at Wembley at the end of June, and we have tickets up for sale now. So please go ahead if you want to see some of the best teams across the world in a $3.5 million league, facing off against each other. Not ENVYUS. Then you can do so.
Bright side, if they don't qualify, you actually get to see teams who play good Counter-Strike.
Boom, there you go. I mean, to be fair, like if you're...
I'm savage as well, Dan. I have like all the caster, like of all the casters, I took the best of them.
You took the best of everyone, just combined into one. To be fair, you make a good point as well. You're gonna see some great Counter-Strike. Even if you're not a fan specifically of ENVYUS, you're gonna see some great Counter-Strike regardless, as we have great teams from the North American and the European region. Of course, we do have North American ECS in a little bit. I don't even know what time it is right now, but in a few hours, it will be going live. And James, in 2 hours and 20 minutes, Mr. Producer Reese tells me. And James will be back for that. Yanko will be off.
I'm free. Finally, I'm free from the casting hell, Dan.
You don't want to watch Liquid in Complexity? That's not a thing for you? I know you're a big fan of Liquid.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I will not watch that game, then. I will be deep.
But you can check the result on the Score Esports. Oh, if you have that installed in your phone.
Tell me more about that app, Dan. I don't think I've heard about it before.
You can just aptly named. You can check the score. So, I mean, it's also good for you guys on the move as well. If like Yanko, you're unable to catch all the action and what's going on in the CES scene in that sense, you can check out the Score Esports app on your respective iOS or Android app store. And one thing before we go to break, I have to again remind you of, if you want to see the standings and various things, because I don't think we promoted it too much at the start of the season, csgoleague.com is the portal, is the main hub for the league. So that is where you can see the standings as we draw very, very close now to the playoffs. And I think in about 5 days, we'll be starting the playoffs to decide who will go to the finals at the Wembley Arena. So without further ado, that's all.